Swaggart, the once unshakable pillar of faith and strength behind the iconic Jimmy Swaggart Ministries, is now facing the darkest storm of her life, a silent emotional battle that has left even her closest supporters deeply concerned. Because behind the calm smiles on stage and the perfectly composed appearances lies a woman grappling with immeasurable pain, suffocating loneliness, and the unbearable weight of responsibility that followed the heartbreaking loss of her beloved husband, Jimmy Swaggart, whose passing not only tore apart her heart but also shattered the entire rhythm of her life, as Frances now stands alone trying to hold together a legacy built over decades with sweat, sacrifice, and unshakable faith. But the truth is, without Jimmy by her side, every step forward feels like a 1,000-pound burden. Every sermon echoing through the church reminds her of the voice that once stood beside her, and every quiet moment behind closed doors whispers memories that cut deep. Because Jimmy wasn't just her husband, he was her partner in purpose, her shield in criticism, her confidant in crisis, and the very soul of the ministry they built together. And now that soul is gone, leaving Frances struggling to smile while the pain crushes her spirit. And what makes it worse is the pressure she now faces to keep everything afloat. From managing the massive international ministry, handling financial responsibilities, and attending to the spiritual needs of thousands, to dealing with internal family conflicts, backroom betrayals, and the overwhelming fear of what might happen to everything if she falters. And while she continues to walk on that stage and speak with fire, what most people don't see is that behind the scenes she's breaking down, praying for strength through the tears, battling the silence in a home that once echoed with Jimmy's voice, clinging to memories just to make it through the day, and to make things even heavier, her relationship with key members of the Swaggart family, especially when it comes to leadership roles and ministry direction, has reportedly grown tense and distant, with some insiders quietly revealing that Frances feels isolated and misunderstood, as though her years of devotion are now overlooked in favor of new leadership ambitions from younger family members who think they know better. And this emotional toll, combined with the spiritual warfare she's quietly enduring, is enough to break anyone. And yet, Frances still shows up, still prays for others, still smiles for the camera, still believes in God's plan. But make no mistake, this is not the same woman you saw laughing beside Jimmy on Sunday mornings. This is a woman in mourning, in war, in constant prayer. And yet no one really stops to ask her how she's doing. No one sees her pain in full because she hides it so well, but those close to her have started to speak out, saying she's had sleepless nights, moments of panic, health concerns that she won't publicly discuss, and even days where she's questioned if she can go on like this, and who could blame her? After losing the man who was not only her husband but her rock, being expected to carry an entire ministry through its most vulnerable season is not just difficult, it's devastating. And while thousands around the world still look to Frances for hope and guidance, few truly understand that she's giving from an empty cup, pouring love out of a broken heart, trying to keep her promise to Jimmy that she'd never let his legacy fade, even if it meant sacrificing her own peace in the process. And as the spotlight remains on her, with cameras rolling and congregations watching, Frances silently begs for prayers, for real support, for the kind of grace that goes beyond applause and looks into her soul, because what she's enduring is a grief so raw, so deep, and so lonely that no amount of fame or faith can completely erase. And while she remains composed on stage, those close to the Swaggart family say she often cries behind closed doors, still wears Jimmy's robe when she feels most alone, still sits in his prayer chair when she needs to feel close to him, and still writes in her journal about the moments they shared and the dreams they had for the ministry, many of which she now feels forced to carry alone, even though her body is tired and her heart feels broken. And although Gabriel Swaggart and others have stepped in to support the ministry, sources say Frances worries deeply about the future, about whether the ministry will stay true to Jimmy's vision, about whether the family will stay united, and about whether she has the strength left to keep being the anchor for so many people. Because in reality, she's not just mourning a husband, she's mourning the loss of rhythm, purpose, and spiritual companionship. And while she continues to say God's got this in public, she confesses in private prayers that she's scared, that she misses Jimmy's voice, guiding her, calming her down when stress ran high, and helping her navigate the chaos of ministry life. And in the quiet moments, especially at night, the silence is deafening, the loneliness is paralyzing, and the memories replay like a loop she can't escape, as every hallway in their home feels like a museum of lost time, every chair a reminder of absence, and every photograph a trigger of what once was and what will never be again. And yet Frances keeps going, not because it's easy, but because she believes Jimmy would have wanted her to, and because she knows the world still needs the gospel, even if her own heart is crying out for healing. And so she pushes forward, through grief, through conflict, through uncertainty, with the kind of quiet strength only God can give. But make no mistake, this is the hardest time of her life, and though she carries it well, the weight is crushing, the pain is unspoken, and the struggle is real. And if the world only knew the tears behind the sermons, the battles behind the blessings, and the courage it takes just to get out of bed every day, they'd see that Frances Swaggart is not just a woman of faith, she's a woman fighting for her sanity, her calling, and her heart.